Welcome back. In this class, we're going to be talking about our viewport labels. So let's dive straight into it. So here, okay, we have the general. So this is where we got the Alt plus W from. You can, just minimize or maximize your viewport. So from here, you can restore, click again, and maximize. So going down, we have our active viewports. So this is our active viewport. So it means here I can click this and make here probably active. So see, by active, this is active now. The viewport that has this bounding, rectangular stroke there. So you can make a viewport active by left clicking or right clicking. But there's a difference between the right click and the left click. Let me explain. When you click this, for instance, when you come here and you left click, it's going to deselect what you have here. So you have to come here, when you left click, you deselect and you have to click it again. Left click, you click again. But if you use your right mouse button and you click this and you hit your right mouse button, it will maintain the selection. Same here, maintain selection, same here, maintain selection, down to here. Okay? So we have, you can disable viewport, you can show your grids, shortcut is G, so G, okay, to show or hide my grid. We have our ViewCube, so I can turn it off, I can turn it on, and what is the function? Instead of coming here to your left view and your top or your front, you can just remain here and just double click, though in your perspective, okay, because when you come in here to your left view, you are in your left view, but this is isometric. Okay, by isometric will mean, take for instance, when you go in here, if you observe, even though you draw a big box and you turn here to default shading, everything is going to look flat. Okay, no 3D fill, no depth cues. But when you come here, using the base, okay, when you come here, if you observe when I draw something there, and I draw another one here, if you observe, further object looks smaller. If I decide to duplicate this, like so, and I bring this very close, and I bring this, and take this far. This object and this object just the same. This one looks smaller than this. That's what we call depth cues. If I convert this to say, let's say I convert it to, let me top for instance. If you observe, they all look the same. Okay? So let's move on. So we have our ViewCube, we have our steering wheel. So being here, I can click on my left and my front. I can drag this up, click top, click right, going in here, click left. Okay? Then we can click this, you can also click this. When you click this, you have some options to play around with. You have your geographic view, your perspective view, your other kinds of viewport. You can click your configure, and you have all of these options here, viewport configurations. Okay, so that's a shortcut to viewport configuration. Just click here and then move on to configure. And you can reset. So that is that for your steering wheels. Okay, so we have our X view, we have our create, preview, and others there. Let's move on to our standard. Before we come here, we have our point of view, POV. Here you can choose different views, photographic, top view, you can choose bottom view, you can choose back view, you can choose left, and many kinds of view. So here is a general view, and here is a POV. Okay, the point of view. So we'll go back to our perspective. Okay, and we can just pan like so. Here it's called our shading, so you can have different shadings here. Let's draw a plane. So we'll go to our command panel, go to our plane, and draw something. So I can hit my G to hide grid. So you can come to your shading and click high quality, and you can begin to view things more in higher quality, or you begin to appreciate the 3D perspective of the scene. We have others like performance DX mode, and you have ActiveShade mode using Arnold, but we're not going to be using this for this class. Okay, that will be quite advanced. That will be when you will go into our render setup, and you begin to put in your set up your renderers and stuff like that. So most of the time you're going to be using your standard, maybe in terms of high quality for now. Okay, let's take note of that. Next we have our per view preference, which is here, so you can view things in play mode if you want. Okay, you can click this and turn on wireframe. Okay, view this wireframe mode. You can turn this on to maybe bounding box, if that's what you want. You could also, and so much more, F4 to turn on edges, if that's what you want. But basically we want to be using the full shading for perspective, and for our, let me turn this to left, fine. Okay, you want to use your perspective here. Then for other views, you want to use your wireframe mode. Okay, which should be this wireframe mode, right? Wireframe, and here you will love to use your default shading. Maybe edge face should be turned off for now. Okay, another thing to note here is that the shortcut for your perspective is P. Shortcut for your left, that is here. The left is L. So L, P for perspective, F for my front view, L for my left view. Okay, so we have front, top. So T, L, F, P. So P, I'm here, P, L, left, T, my top, the F, and my front. So back to my perspective view. So time to time I might be using the shortcut instead of having to go here and click maximize, come here and maximize, or come here and select. By just hitting P and go. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, I would also like to show you the steering wheels. When you click here, come down to steering wheels, you can toggle it on. This gives you a fast option, okay, for navigating your viewport. Let's say you might want to orbit or do some things on your in your scene using your keyboard. This can work. This can be a faster way to work. I can click my zoom and zoom in already. I can click my orbit and orbiting already. Okay, just using my left keyboard. Okay, I can pan. So this can be fast. I can do a walkthrough. Okay, I can do so much pan and stuff like that. So that can come in handy depending on what you want. Okay, at times you might run into an issue like this where you don't know where your scene is, where your object is on your scene. All you need to do is click one of these here and hit your Z. It will zoom in and then go back. That can be a lifesaver. So let's say you zoom in, you're like in no man's land, just hit this Z, it zooms, you're good to go. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the Viewport Labels menu. So now you understand the options here. Not all, but at least the majority of it all. You understand how here works, okay? Your perspective, your orthographic. You now understand your standard, all of these options, and all of this including your play mode. Okay, see you in the next class where we're going to be taking this further. Bye.